Hey, good afternoon everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make freezer fries. These are pretty simple to make. You don't need that many ingredients. You need some white potatoes. I use white. You can use Baker if you want. I just like the white ones. I like the texture. You need some cooking oil. I just use canola. If you've got some citric acid from the gummy recipe, fine. If you don't, you can use a squeeze of lemon juice or some vinegar. You just need something to keep the soaking water acidic. You will need a big bowl. You're going to need a pot to fry in. Now the reason I'm using a pot today is to show you that you can do deep frying with ordinary equipment. You don't need a deep fryer or a wok. I mean, if you've got them, great. But you can still make these with this. You're going to need a metal strainer. Plastic will melt. Okay, so get a metal strainer. Potato peeler. I like my finger one. It just works really easily. Cutting board, small knife, and some brown paper lunch bags, a baking sheet, and some paper towels. So the first thing to do is get some potatoes peeled. I peel the potatoes right over the sink because I'm lucky enough to have a carburetor, and then I just shove everything down there and get rid of it. So what I use the knife for is just cut out any eyes or anything like that on the end. And also, if you're going to be using it, to cut them up. I'll show you how to do a couple on that, but I do have a French fry cutter, which yes, I will be using. You can use a knife, and I will show you that. Okay, so after you got your potato peeled and the eyes taken out, I've got a bowl of water in the other sink that I just put just a sprinkle of citric acid in. If you acidify the water, the potatoes will not turn brown while you're getting them ready. Okay, so let's just pretend that this has been here for a bit and I've got a whole batch done. For these, cut the ends off before you start, because if you don't, you're going to get little points on the fries that are going to burn really easily. Okay, so you can do this any way you want. Okay, I usually just split it up that way and then make an even cut. You do want to try to keep the fries all about the same size. Okay, and just one more like that. Okay, throw them back in the water. So if you do have any little fragments like that, no, just toss those out. Potatoes are fairly cheap, and you don't want these to burn while you're doing them. I've only done enough to make up about one baking sheet to freeze, just to show you how to do it. But if you start to get into this, you really should get a fry cutter, because you can get these at a camping store, and I think I paid about $20-25 for mine. And when you consider how cheap big bags of potatoes are, the fry cutter will pay for itself if you make a fair amount of these. And if you've never seen one of these little suckers in action, just get a fairly narrow potato, load it in, and just, you gotta get it down on the counter first. Come on. That's what I forgot. It's been a while since I made these. It goes so much easier if you cut the potato in half, all right? And then just put it flat side in. And let's try that again, eh? Yeah, only two this time. Oh, that was good. I definitely will cut that one, even though it's slim. Yeah, if you got one of these, you can make lots of fries and you won't be at this all day. Next step is get the potatoes ready to fry. So you line your baking sheet with a couple layers of paper towel, and then you start going through the fries. Now, just for you to see quick, you'll notice that they're really cloudy. The starch is coming off. Okay. So what you're going to do now is you're going to pick through these. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a handful here and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so that is not going in. It's too skinny and it's going to burn in the oven. That's a nice one, nice one, nice one, and so on. Okay, chip fragment in the bin. Oops. Well, my sink's not that clean, so it's going straight down, all right? So I have one layer done here. So what you do after is get some more paper towel. If you're going to be doing multiple layers, just put another layer. I find that 3 sheets works really nice. And what you do is just tamp that down, and if you were going to make more, just put it on top and keep going like that. Okay? Because what's important is that the fries be dry before they go in the hot oil. Because if they're not, they will spatter and you could get burned, and you don't want the oil splashing up on you, alright? Okay, so I've got, I'd say about an inch and a half, or about, I'd say 1.5 liters to 2 liters, or about 1.5 quarts or 2 quarts of oil in the bottom of this pan, heating up over medium-high. Now, you don't need a thermometer for this, okay? What I do is I pick one of the least attractive pieces that I know I'm not going to be using, and I nominate it to take one for the team, okay? And you just drop that in the bottom and keep an eye on this, and when that starts fizzling and coming to the surface, you know the oil is ready to use. While the oil's heating up, I'm going to transfer the fries to a plate. Now, the smaller batches you cook in, the faster they'll cook and the better they'll come out in the end. So what I'll do is I take about 1/2 of one layer as a batch. So for this experiment I'm showing you, I'm just going to do 2 batches here. Yeah, and what I do left over with the other ones is I'll just pick up the whole thing and just put it, oops, there goes one, on top. Okay. Just wait for the oil to heat up. And I got the cookie sheet ready. 3 bags does it just nice. You want this fairly far away from the pot because you don't want the paper bags catching fire, okay? That sounds like there's starting to be some action down in the bottom of the pot. So I'll stick my try to give you a close-up there. That is not quite ready to go, but it's getting pretty close. Now, even though these have been patted dry twice, you can still see how much bubbling there is from the water that's on the potato. So I can't stress enough how dry these should be before they ever hit hot oil. When the test fry starts rising to the surface, just take it out and start putting in some of the other ones. What I find is useful is put the fries onto the strainer. Do not drop them directly into the oil, okay? And you'll see why in a second. Yeah, because aside from it bubbling, when you drop it, if you drop it, it will splash back up at you. And trust me, if you've ever had an oil burn, you don't want one, right? I'm stirring them up a bit just to prevent them from sticking together. They will cook on their own. Okay, so after it's been a few minutes, you can start to see the activity subside. There's still some bubbles from the water coming out of the fries on top, but you can see that most of them, if not all of them, are floating. Okay, and the edges of a couple have started to brown a little bit. This is when you want to take the fries out. Now, it's important that you do this quickly. You do not want to leave the oil with nothing in it on heat for any longer than possible, because it will heat up too much and you can burn the next batch of fries. It's important to get something in right away. Okay, that's good. And you'll notice that because the oil is already hot, the second batch goes a lot quicker than the first. And once you've got yourself organized, you can do quite a few of these in a fairly short amount of time. So like the last set, these just reached the point where they're ready to go. Now I got another recipe to make today, so I'm just going to turn the oil off and get to that first, and I'll make up the rest of these for me later. One thing I did forget to mention while it was cooking, never cover the oil, okay? If you think you're going to end up doing it quicker, you're going to get a very, very bad surprise, and it's probably going to catch fire. So, these are all spread out nice. I wouldn't be using my fingers, they're a bit too hot. You could get some tongs. They don't have to be in a perfect even row, they just freeze faster if they're all spread out flat like this. So I am going to put some more salt. Let these cool off to room temperature before I put them in the freezer. It's a lot easier on your freezer, and goes a little quicker too. The fries are completely cooled, and if you'll notice, gee, they look like just like what comes out of the bag, eh? Okay, so the point with these is the deep frying gets the oil into the potatoes. Plus, if you notice, they're basically already cooked. I mean, they're cooked enough that if you had to, you could probably eat them raw now, but they're ready to put in the oven. I mean, they're not frozen yet, but they're ready to put in the oven. So I'm in the garage with the fries in the camera. Now, one thing I was going to say, that if you're going to do a whole bunch of these, like 10 pounds or whatever, obviously you're not going to be doing layer by layer on cookie sheets, okay? What you would want to do is get yourself a nice cardboard box and prepare them in layers like this inside the box, clean out your deep freeze, and just freeze the whole box and then bag them up after you're done. Gee, I hope my deep freeze is presentable. I hadn't checked first. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, so just kind of like lay them in there so they're not going to spill everywhere. And I'm just going to leave these till these freeze. Hopefully it's pretty quick. So here are the fries out of the freezer. I've taken off the paper bags. Obviously you don't want to be putting those in the oven, eh? So the cooking directions are pretty much the same as store-bought. You're going to heat the oven to 425 Fahrenheit and then cook them for 10 minutes and flip them over and cook them for another 10. It's at the 10-minute mark, and you can hear the little darlings sizzling away there. So, I don't know about you, I have never found a good way to like neatly turn these things, but I guess you just do what you can and try to get the dark sides up top, eh? So the fries have just come out of the oven. They're cooked. And they look and sound just like the ones you get at the store. They're a little too hot for me right now. Oh, why not? So you can see there. Cooked all the way through. Yep. They taste really good. And the best part about making these yourself is even if you bag them up after, there's 3 ingredients: potatoes, oil, and salt. Alright? Which is about as close to natural as you're ever going to get with French fries. So there's my homemade oven freezer fries, and I sure hope you liked it and you'll try these out.